All right. Happy Friday, everyone. Carolyn's here from Texas. Hopefully, everything's okay over there in Texas. What's up, everybody? Happy Friday. Very excited about the Clara and Amanda show, as we call it, the YouTube show. Our topic this week is how to avoid overselling with List Perfectly's auto delist feature with our special guest, Crystal Mouse. We're very excited to have her on the show. What's up, Kim, Koala Trading Company? But everybody, as you filter in, please give us a thumbs up. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. And I like to say we always love shares. So if you want to share, sharing is caring, not only on Poshmark with List Perfectly's Poshmark sharing tool, but here as well, ladies and gentlemen. So what's up, Patrick? Hey, luxury on a dime, garden resale thrifts. So in the comments here, restated threads. Hey, welcome. Feel free to ask questions, add comments, add any tips of your own. But again, we'll get into more detail, but we're excited to have Crystal Mouse here. She's the finery on Instagram, and her List Perfectly referral code is down below in the description. She's a high volume seller, and we're going to learn more about her, her amazing inventory system, how she's growing her business, how she's using List Perfectly's auto delist. But before we get to that, we've got the news, kind of more reminders this week, but first news is Clara loves when I tease, and she's been trying to get me not to tease too much. So I'm just going to show a little shoulder today. But listen, LP referral members, first of all, if you're not in the referral program, you got to be in there. It's super easy. Go into your List Perfectly, click my account, and you can learn more about how to sign up. And it's available to everybody. It's free. And you don't have to be a huge social media star. You can be any volume seller. You get a few referrals a month, and that could cover your List Perfectly alone. But there's a lot more benefits to the program. So one of the big things is List Perfectly referral members get previews and special announcements before everybody else. So I'm just going to tell you, if you haven't checked your news and announcements lately, you're going to want to, first of all, check that regularly, but you're going to want to go check that particularly today. What's up, curator of thrift and Leanne Painter? Nice to see you. Thanks for joining. Jill, nice to see you. So go into your List Perfectly, your newly designed, super cool, super fast catalog. You can see announcements up in the left, and then there's also a cool new little icon that we are loving down in the bottom right of your LP catalog page. Click that, and you'll see all of your announcements. And keep an eye on that, because we're going to be doing a lot more with that. But again, you LP referral members, you get special previews, and there's a good one that's up there today. And there's a couple more coming very soon. So keep an eye on that. And again, just take a look at the referral program. It's the best one in the business. It pays you out in perpetuity. There's no limits. We're not going to cut you off after a couple of months. We don't do any voodoo like that. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's get over to some eBay news. Don't forget that up and running grants are open. So that's the fifth time they're doing this. And this is a series of $10,000 grants to eBay sellers. And you also get a stipend of $500, which you can use to equip yourselves with office technology from eBay Refurbished. So they're pushing that as well. So that's open till June 7th, 2024 at 6 p.m. ET. At first, I thought it was funny that they put the time, but I've known sellers that are still working on their application up to the very last moment. So to get into that and learn more about it, go to ebay.helloalice.com. And helloalice.com is a great small business resource anyway, and you'll get a lot more as part of this program, and especially if you get the grant. But they've got great resources all the time across the board. And then also, eBay's updated the Seller Hub marketing tab. So they've added a create promotion button to quickly help you launch promotions. There's an activity tracker that helps you keep track of your promotions. And they've simplified the left-hand nav, so kind of eliminating duplicate links and moving things around so it's easier to navigate. And they promise there's going to be more stuff coming soon. And then this is interesting. So this isn't being super widely publicized. It's kind of word of mouth at this point, but they're having some what they're calling seller social events in May and in May. So as far as I've seen, San Jose and New York are having events. And again, from what I learned about it word of mouth, and so did a good seller friend of mine whose name rhymes with Trish. And there's some info at sellerevents.ebay.com, but you should have looked for an email that would have detailed information if you are in either of those areas where they're having these events. But always keep an eye out in the seller community at community.ebay.com, and then sellerevents.ebay.com for eBay seller events. And then finally, another reminder, don't forget PoshFest 2024 is in Nashville, Tennessee, September 5th to 6th. So this is their two-day annual conference where sellers and secondhand enthusiasts come together to connect, learn, and grow, and connect directly with Poshmark. And so the important thing here is they're not selling tickets yet, but ticket info will be coming out soon at poshfest.poshmark.com. But people are booking the hotels. So if you want to book now, book your travel and your hotel. Look at the Cambria Hotel and the Hyatt Centric, because Poshfest has special deals there. So again, get in that referral program. Check your List Perfectly news. Check your eBay news. Keep up on all the platform news. But happy to share that news with you and everything that's newsworthy. But that's all the news that fits today. So, ladies and gentlemen, I have a special view into the green room, and it looks like the ladies are ready to come in and rock and roll. So I'm going to bring Clara and Amanda in, and then I'll drop out. But do not be concerned, because I will be back at the end to wrap things up. And I apologize. I know I need a haircut. I know what you're thinking. There's a new mix. I got some new pomade, my replenishables. And the formula is a little different than I'm used to, so I'm still adjusting. Please don't let me scare you away. But without further ado, I'm going to bring in my good friends, Claire and Amanda, and they'll start.
Hey, Doggy. Hi.
Happy Friday. Nice to see you.
TGIF.
That's right. Not many people know this, but Claire and Amanda are in the same room, just across the way from each other.
Except today.
So, all right. All right, ladies. So,
all right, Doggy. Thank you so much for the news. That was very, very, very good, and the amazing introduction. And thank you. And then we'll see you at the end for Q&As. And then if you can share, Crystal's link on the comments, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, we'll do that. And then, if you need me to share anything, or if you need me, just let me know, or say my name 3 times like Beetlejuice, and I will appear.
Doggy.
It works.
Thank you, Doggy.
All right, thanks. So, have a good show.
Without further ado, we say goodbye to Doug, but we're going to say welcome, a special guest, Crystal Mouse. Welcome, Crystal.
Hi, how are you?
Oh my goodness. So, me, I'm so excited. This is a very special moment because I've been looking forward for this session with you. We're joined here by our amazing CEO, Amanda Morse, and our experienced seller, Crystal Mouse. I am the co-founder of List Perfectly, Clara, and the Chief Strategy Officer. But with much further ado, I'm going to let Crystal introduce herself first.
Well, my name's Crystal Mouse. As you just heard, I am in the Midwest in a very, I'm in North Dakota. So
I knew it. I was going to say, and this is special. Wait, look at Amanda. Amanda, I knew it. Trish told me today she's in North Dakota, but Crystal, Amanda's going to give you a big surprise, all right? So please, sorry to interrupt you, but keep that in mind because you're not going to believe how small this world is.
I can't wait. I'm a mom and a wife, but my all-day gig is reselling these days. So that's what I've been up to for about the past 4 years. Sourcing up here is unique because we have very sparsely populated state.
Yep.
Don't have, a lot of the same designer items that a lot of resellers are looking for. So I have to get creative up here to find the stuff that I get. But that's really the basics about me. I'm not too exciting of a gal, to be honest, but I'm sure we'll find plenty to talk about.
Yeah, quite the opposite, actually, Crystal. I mean, I'm just looking at your setup back there, and we'll get into that. I mean, clearly you're doing something right. First of all, thank you so much for joining us. And of course, I'm Amanda. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Liz Perfectly. And I'm, of course, I got a million questions for you, but why is this a small world? Because I happen to be in South Dakota right now.
Really?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Well, yeah, long story short, I was taking care of my parents in Rhode Island, and I drove back. I'm driving. I'm on my way back to Phoenix, so that I can take care of the house and do all those things. But yeah, I'm in Rapid City right now, and I thought about driving through North Dakota. I could have waved as I went by.
Should have taken a little detour up here.
Yeah.
I dream of going to North Dakota. I love Badlands. I want to go there. It's a dream that I have. I can't wait.
Well, you're welcome anytime. It's gorgeous there in the Badlands, and I would love if you can come up here. We don't get celebrities in North Dakota, so you're mine.
Oh my goodness! Oh, you're talking about you? Oh, you are Amanda. I got it. No, but definitely we love traveling a lot with Amanda. But definitely, Badlands. It's a very special place that I was watching, a movie, and actually many movies, and just what a beautiful state. I thought that was very beautiful. But the finery, Crystal Mouse, the finery, right?
Yes.
So, Crystal, I can see your setup back there. That's just amazing. That is people, that is not a backdrop, okay? The thing real. No. She's not on a green screen, okay, with a backdrop and a picture. That's her real warehouse. And I wanted to congratulate you, Crystal, on your new warehouse, expanding your business. That is impressive. I still remember when we expanded our small business with Amanda, and we went from 1-car garage to a 3-car garage. So you got a warehouse. Tell us about that, Crystal.
Well, it really crept up on me. I started reselling before the pandemic, so late 2019. I guess I saw on YouTube maybe that people actually could do this. I used to be, and still am, a voracious YouTube content consumer. And so I think that's where I first saw it. But I have been my whole life a deal maker. I love a good deal. I was raised in a family where that was an important thing, to get a good price on something. And we, it's just how I grew up. So then as I got to be an adult, thrifting was a hobby of mine through every stage of my life. I just loved to do it. And so then when I found out people were making a living doing this, I was floored. And I just thought, as my kids were getting older, I needed something to do with my spare time. They were all gone at school. They were getting older, needed less from me. And I wanted to contribute to my household. And so I thought, well, if there's some way I can make this thing I love to do so much into a job, I'd be just living the dream. So here I am 4 years later, but it really took on a life of its own when, I made my first few sales, and it's just something you get addicted to. I feel like it's a disease we all have, but just that little hit of dopamine every time you sell something, and the fact that something I chose, somebody wanted to buy, that feeling, I just couldn't get enough of it. So luckily, my husband is really supportive of what I do, and he trusted me to, do what I needed to do to grow it. And he doesn't help me in the business, but he helps me in the sense that he is, supportive 100%. So that really helps. But, as long as I can remember, I've had little businesses, even as a young person that weren't reselling. And so just kind of, I've had this entrepreneurial my entire life. And so now to get to the warehouse, it's really a List Perfectly thing. When I signed up in, let's see, have the date down here. So May 30th, 2020 is when I signed up. So I've been around for a little while, but that first month I signed up and started cross-listing because I was initially a Poshmark seller. The first month I started selling, I doubled my sales, doubled my income, of course, because, you start cross-listing, and your things are out there for more people to see. So it was just incredible. And I thought, I think at that moment, I realized what a powerful tool List Perfectly is. And that was only with the cross-listing that you offer. There's so many other things that I came to learn and that you've added over time, but holy cow, it's the cornerstone of my business. I wouldn't be able to do all this without List Perfectly and being able to do what I do with all those tools. So it's been pretty fun.
Wow, Crystal, what a journey. Amanda, I think that you and Amanda are kindred spirits, because the part that she said, I was always entrepreneurial and I have small businesses, I think it links with you, Amanda, so much.
Oh, 100%. I think that we learn by trial and error, right? What works. And I think, for me at least, I don't know about you, but for me, I always focused on the bottom line. And is what I'm doing profitable? Because, there is a difference between running a nonprofit and running a business for profit. And, I would love to hear more about your journey as you got started, but yeah, I think that, having you talk about you're a voracious YouTube watcher, that must have helped a lot. I mean, what would you say, like, really kicked you into high gear other than List Perfectly to get started? What was that? Did you have any tips that really resonated with you?
Well, I have called it the University of YouTube for a long time, because you can learn to do almost anything. And that's something I am somebody who loves to learn all the time. And if I had one thing for resellers to just keep an open mind and be willing to learn every day, that is one of the biggest tips I have. But as far as where it really clicked for me was when I was making enough money that I could source as much as I could possibly list by myself. And if I wanted to grow, I needed help. And I realized at that point that, holy cow, this is an actual business. I could make this a business. It's not just for fun. And I have, built the whole thing on cash. I only spend what I have. I'm pretty careful about that. But when I realized that, I needed to maybe open a separate checking account, because it was getting to the point where there was money left over at the end of every month. And, it was probably only a few months in that happened. Probably about this time I decided to sign up for List Perfectly is when I was getting serious about making it a business.
Your timing was perfect, right, Mandy? Right before the pandemic. I mean, your timing, I had the perfect timing, because I also, like yourself, when I joined Amanda is when it was 2008, after the whole banking problem. So I was lucky to go through that phase in which online sales exploded due to a change of behavior on the consumers.
Yeah, and it's funny how that happens. I mean, we didn't know, that those things were going to happen in the world. And it's funny how it works out. A lot of times it's just perfect timing. So
just do it, right? Just
yes,
do
that's
it.
right.
just
But
dive
going
in.
back to what you said, Mandy, I really like, what you said. Would you, because you had such a big growth so fast, I'm curious, may I ask you, what did you used to do before reselling?
Me?
Yes.
Well, I went to college for advertising and marketing.
Ah,
So I worked in that field in the advertising agency industry for probably 5 years. And then as a young adult, right out of college. And then I had twins who were, little, they needed a little extra. So when they were about 2 years old, I stayed home. I stayed home with my kids for 12 years. And we had another little boy. So I have 3 boys, stay at home mom for 12 years. But in that time, I had a business where I refinished furniture and sold it. I had a business because I sew a lot. I sewed things and sold them at craft fairs. And I never could quite stop doing that kind of stuff. And so I feel like everything up until I started reselling, and I hear a lot of people say that in reselling, everything I did before this led me, I use all those skills now in the reselling world. So that's what I did before. And then really the first things that I ever resold, I volunteered at a thrift store that was free for people who didn't have homes or were getting back into apartments after being homeless. And so I was a volunteer there, and I'd see these donations come in to this place. Like one time they got a Burberry coat in there, and I've always loved fashion my whole life, so I know what a Burberry coat is. Fine cashmere sweaters, people were being generous donating these things. But the truth of the matter was, in that organization, was that the money we could get for this Burberry coat would serve that organization a lot better than trying to give somebody that coat. We could buy, for what we could sell that Burberry coat for, we could buy 50 winter coats for men that, were asking for them and needed them, or they could pay their rent with some of that money. So I suggested it to the women there, and I said, would you be open to me taking this stuff, and I'll figure out a way to sell it for you, and then give you the money, and you can do what you need to with that for the store. So those were really the first items that I sold. And then trying to figure out how to do that is where I started looking at things on YouTube. And so really that was the moment that I became a clothing reseller online, is when I sold my first thing for them. So it's really, I don't know, it's a winding road that we go on.
Wow, that's really meaningful. I mean, that's very meaningful work, and it's very impressive that you help that organization in that way. Do you still do that today, or you find your business is just it's just so time consuming?
Well, not as much as I used to. I do still have some of their items, and I heard from the ladies the other day that they've got a box waiting for me to come and look through. So yes, not as much as I'd like. And that's, as I'm finding my footing for, growing so fast, I'm finding my work-life balance a little bit more. There was a period of time, maybe 2 years, where I worked all the time, and I am not kidding you. I mean, morning, noon, and night. And still sometimes I'll work late at night if I take a Wednesday off or something, but I mostly try to take my evenings and weekends off. And so, now that things are sort of stabilizing a little bit, I feel like I could devote more time to that type of activity again, which is so refreshing. It's really, that organization means a lot to me, and what they do is so important. And so, yeah, I'd like to do more.
Well, that's great. I don't know if you maybe share their name. I mean, I don't know if they sell online, but that's another way that I love to contribute personally. Just find out good organizations and buy from them, so we can continue to support their mission.
Yeah, the name of it is Open Doors 65. They're located here in Fargo, and they don't have an online store or anything, but just, yeah, they're pretty great over there.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, you know what I'm curious about is you mentioned early on that you're a really good deal finder, and would you be able to share like one? You don't have to share your secrets. We never expect everybody to do that because you work really hard for that. But are there any pearl, like a single pearl of wisdom that you could share with our audience on sourcing?
You know, one of my most valuable connections is with someone who manages a store. And this is actually kind of a tip I got from, it was from Trish in Mastermind. And she now calls me every time they have a clearance sale. And she says, why don't you come on over and shop? And then, we start talking and, and then after the sale's over, I have the opportunity to buy what's left. And just talking with people. I feel like making meaningful connections with the people you shop with the mailman that comes every day, with just people in general, making those connections, getting to know them on a personal level.
That's right.
In sincerity, just this is a kind of a lonely job sometimes. So for me, the mailman popping in the door is a gift. About noon every day, I get to talk to somebody. So yeah, I think my best tip is just to tell people what you do. I know when I first started selling, really for the first 2 years, I was so shy about it. I didn't want anybody to know what I was doing. I felt weird about it because I didn't know how to describe what I did for a job. And then when I started to, opportunities fall in your lap, really. And so that'd be my biggest tip, is just talk to people, be friendly, let them know what you do. Yeah. And then as far as, online sourcing, just the ability to know how to check comps accurately, check sell-through is such a huge deal. Trish says it all the time to us in Mastermind: you make the money on the buy and not when you sell the item. So,
there it is. Mastermind she's talking about. Here you go. This is Listing Party every day, 6 a.m. Crystal. You can meet Crystal and Trish and everybody else there.
Yeah, it's an awesome group. It starts out my day every weekday. I do not miss it if I can help it. So, but really, you have to think about your money in terms of like, okay, these are my dollars and I'm tying this money up in this item until it sells. So just making sure, on the buy that you're making a sound decision.
Well, that's fantastic. I mean, of course, you mentioned that you were growing your business so much that you needed help, but I want to kind of bring us a little back to LP and find out what List Perfectly features have helped you, and so that maybe you didn't have to hire as many people for assistance.
Mm-hmm. That's a good question, Mandy. Wow.
I don't even know where to begin, to be honest. Like I said, it's ingrained in everything I do so much that it's hard to even pick out all the things. But for me, I can't even imagine how much time I would pay somebody to be listing in all the different places I list, because I have things on 5 different platforms. I have
which are those, please?
Okay, so I have eBay, Mercari, Poshmark. Those are the 3 that I have everything listed on. And I have some things on Kitizen, Depop. Oh, 6.
Do I have the right store? Please tell me I put the right store.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yep. Beautiful. Here you go. Crystal Smiles, the finder in you and pre-owned fashion.
Yep, that's me. So I think, I would have to pay. I wouldn't be able to afford to pay somebody to list to all those places individually without the convenience and time saving of cross listing. So there's one. That's the one we all know about, right?
So I noticed you almost have 10,000 listings, Crystal. You almost have 10,000 listings. Yes. How could you manage that without List Perfectly? Now, let me ask you, Auto Delist. I see that you have a very good reputation with eBay. How is Auto Delist helping you selling across multiple channels?
eBay especially, it's like so important to have the things that you say you have, to ship them when you say you're going to, or you're not going to sell on eBay anymore. You know, after you make a couple of mistakes on there, you know, that's the one thing about eBay that you really have to mind. And so it is top of mind important. So when Auto Delist, do you want to go there yet? Okay, so
Yes,
when Auto
please.
Delist came out, it was something I had waited for, you know, years before it came out. And, you know, you hear these little rumblings like it's coming, it might be, you know, we might be working on something like this. And then they got stronger. Okay, we are doing it. You guys finally said, we're doing it. So I was just so excited. And I'll tell you about my old process. I used to have a spreadsheet in OneDrive, and every day I'd make, you know, multiple times a day, I'd go in there and put my sales in there, put this SKU number, and I'd have this spreadsheet. And so every day, 2 times a day, I'd have to go in and end those listings, which List Perfectly makes a lot easier, you know, than running around to all the platforms. But it still was like a button you had to click, and the tabs would come up on the top that it'd open each of the windows, and you'd have to manually delist those by clicking those buttons through LP in the catalog. So when it came, it just would save me so much time every day. It probably saves me an hour to an hour and a half a day to have auto delist. Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. May I ask you what's your average of items that you sell daily, please? That's
I
your
would
average.
say like 30 a day, and then, you know, on the
Ooh.
weekends it's more.
Oh,
so
you're
sometimes
one of those sellers, huh?
Yeah, yes. Well, I don't have high dollar things either, so I have to, you know, because my ASP isn't super
Oh,
high.
so you're high volume. High volume.
Volume, and I would say, I haven't calculated it in a while, but my average sales price is maybe like $25 to $28. And so you have to keep the wheels turning when you don't have that high ASP. So yeah, Auto Delist was a game changer, and it has saved me so much time to dedicate to other things in my business that really needed my attention. And so to have that, so figure, you know, like count an hour to an hour and a half a day, that's like 7 to 10 hours a week that I have to do something else. And it takes the human error component out of delisting. And I know a lot of resellers, and myself included, when you start talking to them about cross listing, the immediate thing they say always is, well, I don't want to double sell something. You know, I mean, because we don't. Our accounts are so important to us. We want to keep them in good standing with the platforms. And so to have this, you know, sales detection first, and then it delists your items, it's just priceless. It's the best money I spend every month, ladies. So I never regret it. It's awesome to have that. I think when we're talking about auto delist, though, what you have to remember is to have a clean linked catalog is the thing you have to have, though, for it to work for you. So to have those listings linked to your catalog is of utmost importance.
Thank you for saying that, because that is so true. I think a lot of people, and this is something that I want to just touch on real quick, but we use that marketplace ID to track your listing on each marketplace. And Auto Delist, we actually work with almost every platform we support. Auto Delist will work. Except for, I think, Shopify and Instagram, and those two. But on all the other platforms, you can use Auto Delist. And if anything changes with that marketplace ID, and how can that change? Let's say you delist and relist directly on the marketplace instead of through LP. That can change that ID. But thank you for saying that. I do appreciate it. But let's say your catalog did get out of sync. Well, we have tools for that too, and that's one of the reasons that we waited a little bit to launch Auto Delist, because we wanted to make sure you have the tools that, in case your catalog is not in good health, you can fix it really quick. We have the link feature. Yes.
Yeah. Love link. I love it.
Yep, the link feature, and then we also have sync. which is another valuable feature because we're going to show you in a condensed list everything that might have been out of sync in your catalog, and then you can click it and use that link feature and link it right away and fix that error. So we wanted to make sure that should anything happen with your catalog, it's not like a needle in a haystack to try to figure out and fix. And so you definitely want to use that issues tab, use sync, use the link feature. But yeah, thank you for touching on the item numbers. So
yeah, I use that sync every day. I run the issue finder every single day because it finds things. I think I do a pretty good job keeping everything up to date, but
right?
we're human beings.
We're
We
human,
make things.
exactly.
Yeah. And so I find things all the time in there that really save my butt. I was thrilled. I use that. And then when you're using auto delist too, it's important to check that status little button with the hourglass on it, because if there are any errors, being like you have an active listing on Poshmark, but it's sold on eBay and it needs to delist it, if there's an active offer, it won't take it down. So that's where it will show up, as in that little status area. So I always look in that errors area, and that's where it will tell you, or if it timed out for some reason, that's a place to catch those things. So,
and that's, you see, this is what happens when resellers create software and not all the way around, because anybody could create an auto delete. But what happens, okay, when marketplaces somehow, okay, they do an update, or maybe things that someone made an offer, purchased the item, but they didn't pay, or maybe you sold it, they paid, you never shipped. Okay, so many things can happen that in different marketplaces have different behaviors when you don't maybe complete a sale. That is gonna keep your catalog in like you were saying. I'm sorry, Chris was saying account health, account health, account health, and that's why we created that incredible sync tool to find issues between your active listings, and if they're not properly linked to the marketplaces you're indicating this perfectly, you have them on.
Yeah, and I wanted to share really quick that all these features are available to anybody that signs up for Pro, and then you opt into Pro Plus. And if you're wondering, you're like, hey, I don't see this feature, go to our news section or reach out to support, and we'll show you how to opt into Pro Plus. We've got them all in there. Everything is still in like kind of a testing phase, but as we use it, it's pretty effective. It sounds like it's working out really well for you, Crystal. So
I love it.
so yeah, go over to Pro Plus, opt in if you're not opted in, and then follow the instructions on how to get access to these features. But they're available to everybody who opts into Pro Plus.
And can I just say thank you for adding those into, a lot of the features that are so game changing. You two just add them into all the plans a lot of times. And I just like the background removals, and there's just so much packed into these plans. Sometimes when you roll these things out, I'm like, seriously, they're going to give this to us for nothing?
And how is listing assistant for you, Crystal?
It is so fun to play with. And I really enjoy the process of doing that. I don't do a lot of my own listings, to be honest. Now I want to be transparent with people.
Yeah, because you have employees, and that in a short time. Okay, I want to hear that story, because you were able to create an army, a company of Crystal Mouse Definery, and you shared that with our community, because look, she did it in a couple of years, and so can you.
Yeah, absolutely. I do want to be transparent, because I list 50 items a day, but I don't do that myself. Sometimes when I say that, then somebody will say, well, I will never be able to do that. And I think, well, maybe not by yourself. I don't want you to think I'm doing that all on my own. But so back to the list assistant, I have the VAs that work for me using that, and it has saved a lot of time they can get a lot more listings done in an hour, and I pay by the hour. So it's a great thing. They can get through a lot more with that tool. So, and especially for an item that you don't know a lot about and you might need some help coming up with information about it, I think it's just fabulous. It's such a cool thing to have in there, and AI is here to stay. I mean, we may as well get cozy with it and, really learn how to navigate that. So yeah, there Claire's doing a little example, and it can it's gotten smarter since, I was in the beta program when you started using it, and you guys have tweaked it to a point where I feel like it's writing for resellers now.
I'm so glad to hear that. Yeah, I mean, Clara's showing us how she uses Listing Assistant with a title. So you can use Listing Assistant with either a title, and we recommend making that title as good as you possibly can, because it's going to pick out details from your title. So you don't want to go with a generic title. You want to make that title really strong, put in all those details, and then it'll fill out that listing form and make those suggestions for you. The other side of Listing Assistant is you can scan a barcode, and then we will check the database and see if that item is in the database. And one thing I want to share, the database refreshes every 24 hours. So let's say you scan something today, can't find it in the database, scan it again tomorrow, and then it might pick it up. It's got a good chance. So there's Clara trying. So that's literally, you just turn on the barcode, you hold your SKU up to it, and it reads it. Yep, that's right. That's right. Hopefully that one's in the database.
Well, and it's learning all the time. So like you say, it might be there the next day. Oh, there it is.
There it is. Yep.
It just saves so much time when those are in there. I mean, it's great. So can I talk about one more feature that you have that I think is underrepresented and not enough people use it or talk about it? And it's QR codes. And the pick list.
Okay, Crystal, I'm loving you. Okay, I am so going to North Dakota, girl. That's it. I'm doing shipping for you. Okay, I'm going.
Oh, the QR codes. I bag everything before it goes into inventory. And I used to have like issues where I'd ship the wrong thing to the wrong person because it looked like something else, or these are just, it's such a fail safe for me. I don't ship wrong items to people anymore. If something doesn't get marked sold for whatever reason, and I didn't catch it in the error tab, when I ship, I scan that QR code. It pops right up on my phone, the listing in LP, and I can see if it's marked sold and that it's taken off all those marketplaces. It's just so important in my process. I would encourage anybody. There's so many different ways you could use it in your processes or in your business. But the QR codes and the pick list, I love the pick list. But nobody talks about those, I don't feel like, and they're there. There's great.
So I just want to just say QR codes sound scary, people, but you don't have to do anything. So imagine I'm going to do shipping for right now for Crystal. Okay. So Crystal is going to send me, okay, via email or whatever, okay, or at least perfectly, a picking list. All right. And in that picking list, okay, I have the items and I can scan with my phone. Okay. I go to the item and make sure I'm pulling the right item. You don't have to create nothing. You don't have to subscribe to QR apps or download anything. At least perfectly does it all for you, because every time you list an item, you will have the QR code, and then you can slap that adhesive, what would you call it? I'm sorry, the adhesive label. Thank you, love.
Yep.
Label. I mean, somehow it was coming in Spanish. And then you can put it there, and it's so easy for anybody to go and do shipping. You want to make sure that your business continues, even if you're sick, away from home, visiting family, whatever it is. So thank you for bringing that up. And yes, you're absolutely right. We don't have content. We don't even have it on the pricing chart. Okay. We're working on redoing the website, but it's okay, you know. But thank you. That's why we have you, to share your knowledge and help us to awareness of the incredible tools that List Perfectly has more than a cross-posting service.
Yeah, I mean, that pick list, that's another thing I used to type out every day. And I was hounding Patrick every time I talked to him or every time I saw him about the pick list. Poor Patrick. But I really needed it because I had to type that in an Excel sheet every day, put my SKUs in. And so it also saves me
I
so
had to
much.
do cut and paste. I would do cut and paste.
Yeah.
An old Monday lister that I have from Amanda, and it was
Mhm.
cut and paste every item because I also had 2 employees, and that's how I was doing it, to sell 10 to 20 items like yourself, But I had my max was 5,000 items. But that's just thank you so much for saying, because a healthy inventory management system, anybody can create multiple marketplaces and help you branch out to multiple marketplaces. How do you control very good growth in the right direction that you want of your business and being profitable? So, and profitability comes from not making errors, and not making errors
That's right.
comes from, and
You have to
Amanda,
take the friction process.
yeah. Believe me, how many times we didn't have this? Remember Monday, and we would ship the wrong items.
Oh
And
yeah.
we lost so
Oh
much
yeah. All
money.
the time. All
Yeah.
the time. Yes. And I, back in those days, I wish that we had, auto delist and the QR code and the pick list. I mean, that would have saved us so much time. But I'm so glad that you mentioned all these features, Crystal, because that's why we build them. We want people to be able to grow their business and let technology take care of the tedious tasks, right? I know a lot of people think, well, I can save money by not investing in technology, but by that, when you do that, you're losing time that you could be spending on sourcing or something else that helps grow your business. And so, Clara and I, when we had the clothing vault, we recognized that we needed technology to help us grow. And that's why we built List Perfectly for ourselves first. And when we saw that it worked, when we saw that, this allowed us to have more time to devote to growing our business, then we knew that we had to deliver it to the community.
Thank you for doing it because it is robust and it is powerful. I hope even, I think probably a lot of the people with us today already subscribe.
Yes.
But I would encourage people to just go in there and maybe try a new feature you aren't using right now and see what it can do for you. It's
or opt into the Pro Plus. If you come on and try signing for the Pro plan, and then you opt in for a Pro Plus, and you get all the benefits that Crystal is talking about. But any List Perfectly plan, even the $29, gets you to have Crystal as your co-worker on Mastermind Listing Party. That's right. Any List Perfectly plan will give you the accessibility to the classes that Crystal is talking about, in the camaraderie and the networking and tapping into each other's resources, tapping into each other's advice, tapping into each other's camaraderie, and nothing better for growth than being with people that are like-minded, right? Right, Crystal?
Yes, it's such a valuable part of my day every day to meet with my mastermind people. We're like coworkers and siblings sort of in there. Everybody's welcome. We have so much fun and I learn something new every single day from people in there. And also Camp Listing Party was amazing last summer. And please have it again sometime.
Yeah.
It was just the best to meet because, I saw all my mastermind friends every day, but just to meet them in person, It was just amazing. So to have that opportunity was great. I just had so much fun. I think back on it often. That week that we had. So yeah, it was good.
Thank you. Thank you so much. What a session, Monday. Okay. And I want to, audience, we're going to bring back, okay, Doggy.
Ladies and gentlemen, not as dangerous as Beetlejuice, but hopefully as fun. So
But please ask us anything. Take advantage right now. You can ask us anything. The four of us were more than happy to answer to your questions. We're coming to the end of our session. But just in case maybe you're not right now live, you're more than welcome to drop your questions in the comments of YouTube, or you can subscribe to List Perfectly Any Plan, and then you can join Crystal every day at Mastermind Sessions. 6 a.m. is Eastern Standard Time, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 6 a.m. Pacific. Okay, you can also join us on the Facebook group, and we would be more than happy to. She's there in our amazing List Perfectly Facebook group that if you're not there now, you should be joining. And if you don't have List Perfectly, this is the code you want to use to get 30% off for any LP plan. And you can use this code up to one time for every plan. So you can use it 3 times. Enjoy. So I wanted to plug that in, Crystal, because don't forget, we don't have a sales team. We don't have advertising. We prefer to put our energy into our members, so they are collecting the benefits of sharing how good List Perfectly is for their resale business. That's my spiel.
But awesome.
Thank you. I'm so sorry. Sorry, Doug, but I just have to say this was a great session. I so appreciate you taking the time out of your very busy day to join us here and share your pearls of wisdom. Thank you so much.
Well, it's an honor. I really had fun, and it gave me a good break. I was doing inventory before this, and that's not the most fun job. So you gave me something to look forward to today.
Awesome. No, it was a great session. Thank you so much, everybody. Thanks, Crystal. And you've got such an organized system, so that must ease some of the pain on a Friday for you to go through your inventory.
For sure. I do still find things that aren't where they belong, but you know.
Exactly. But no, it was a great chat. It was great to hear. Well, we know you love a good deal. I love it when I always hear people that start thrifting as a hobby and grow it into their business. So that was great. And then, always community and connection are amongst my favorite things. So that's great. Great to hear about Mastermind and Listing Party and, how active you are in there. So thank you for that. And then obviously your use of List Perfectly and talking about auto delist and how that's helped you grow your business as well. And then,
I'll be a lifer.
All right. Well, that's good to know. That's good to know.
Oh, we do have a question. All right. How do you print your QR code? Do you have a special printer? Courtney Clifford? Okay.
I do. I use a Rollo for mine. Yeah, I use a Rollo, and I have 2 of them. So I have my wireless one does my labels when I print for shipping, and then my old one, my wired Rollo, I kept, and I just have the 2 by 1 inch like address labels, and I have those feeding into my other Rollo. So as things are being put into inventory, they get bagged. I print that QR code because it's connected to every listing in LP. So you just click the little button and it will spit out on the Rollo. You do have to format it.
Yeah.
Especially on the Rollo, but once you get it dialed in, it is really easy.
I'm curious. Did you know that there is little QR label printers?
Yes, I saw them on Amazon somewhere.
Would you like to try them?
Yes.
Beautiful. I'll send you one. And I want to hear your feedback. Okay.
In the gift-giving mood today.
Okay. I'm giving you one. I'm going to send you one. Okay. Don't forget to send me a Daggy if you can get her address. I can't wait to ship you one. And I want to hear your feedback of how was the transition. Setting up the QR label printer is a much smaller printer, here. I also have, a Rollo as a good reseller, okay? But I'm looking forward to hear your feedback, because this reminds me kind of when I was doing the big the printing the big in the big labels, right, on the letter size, and then I was doing the shipping labels, and then I was manually cutting and then glue on the package, and then I got the roller, and my life changed forever. So I'm gonna send you the QR printer for inventory, and I wanna see if that helps you, or do you still wanna, you know what, it didn't. I wanna your real feedback. Did it work? Didn't work? So stay tuned.
Well, yay, thank you. Yes, I'll let you know. I'll send pictures and feedback.
I appreciate it.
All right, cool. So we'll run the credits. If you ladies want to stay around, you can. But
we're gonna say goodbye right now. Daggy, we're gonna say goodbye, Amanda and myself, and then if the audience, we're gonna leave you in the good hands of Daggy, Crystal, just to wrap it up. But we want to say thank you so much, audience. Thank you, Crystal. Thank you, Mandy, and thank you, Doug.
All right, thanks everybody. Thanks, ladies.
You.
Have a good one. We'll talk soon.
Thank you. Bye.
And Crystal, do you want to stay for the plugs, or you can go to and get back to your inventory?
I'll stick around. Inventory can wait, especially because I just really like it.
All right. Well, of course, thanks to our friend Crystal Mouse. Great session. Always thanks to Claire and Amanda. Don't forget, if you want more of Crystal, you can see her in Listing Party, listingparty.com, Mastermind, and all the other listing parties on there. So that is our that's List Perfectly's community. And we have informative events nearly 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Lots of great stuff on there. Some of them are fun. Trish, Teresa, and I, TNT and D, as I call us now, we do a coffee talk listing party on Mondays at 10 Pacific, and we just kind of talk about reseller topics, things like that. And then TNT and D, Teresa, Trish, and Doug. We also have Wednesday reseller tips back here on YouTube. And then, of course, the Friday Claire and Amanda show, 11 Pacific on YouTube. Don't forget the Seller Community Podcast at thesellercommunitypodcast.com, which is every other week now. The Seller Community Blog at thesellercommunityblog.com. YouTube, youtube.com/listperfectlyyt. And then our fabulous Facebook group over on Facebook at facebook.com/groups/listperfectly. So I think I got them all. So wait, let's get the kudos in before Crystal goes. Thank you, Crystal. Great show. You are the GOAT.
That's too kind. I think Susie is. So anyway.
There we go. But
you guys have been great, though. All my friends showed up.
There you go. Lots of support. No, it was a great show. So thank you so much. Have a great weekend. Good luck with your inventory.
Thank you. I'll need it.
I'm sure we will see you in a listing party somewhere soon. But thanks so much, everybody. Of course. Sorry. You want us to watch you do your inventory, or should we just go?
I'll go. I thought you were going to take
No, I'm kidding. I'll go.